me up, man.
Yeah, I look at you and I laugh too.
I'll bet.
Oh,
Welcome everybody to Catfish Weekly, along with the Chad and Josh. We're going to have a lot of fun tonight talking about bait. But Chad, I got a couple of things to go over first.
Do it. Let's do
We
it.
have Brad Beck sent me the tournament results for the Master Bait and Tackle tournament results that was held this weekend. And by the way, they had a flathead for big fish in the tournament, weighed 21.83 pounds.
Good fish.
And congratulations to Nick and Andrew Hahn for first place with a bag limit of 67.35 pounds and a 21.74 big fish, winning $440. Second place was Kyle Reisner and Brad Whitman with a bag limit of 58.84 pounds. Third place was Richmond and Richmond with 57.69 pounds. Fourth place was Salazar with 54.89 pounds. And fifth place was Wilmot Cox, 54.49 pounds. Great turnout, you guys. And some great fish caught, mostly channel cat, but the big fish was a flathead. And then I have results that Lee Reed sent me for the John Lentz Memorial Tournament over the weekend. They had a tournament with a 3-fish limit, and first place was 133 pounds with a big fish of 71. I didn't get a name on that, who the winners was. Second place was Keith and Lee, and they got 116 pounds on, I assume, 3 fish. And third place was 90 pounds, and it was all on the Missouri River in Sioux City, Iowa. So congratulations to all them guys. Lee says 41 fish was caught for a total weight of 847 pounds. Quite a weigh-in. I know some bigger tournaments that didn't do nearly that well. So congratulations to all you guys.
Well, I have to say that it makes my second place finish over the weekend just even more awesome to finish in the same place as Uncle Lou in a tournament. So that's all I got to say about that.
Well, congratulations on that. And Josh, we might want to touch on that for a few minutes because you had a great tournament and a great turnout, not only of fishermen, but people in chat too.
Yeah, we did. We had a real successful second Ohio River Summer Pool Party this year. The River Warriors came away with the win.
Who said that? I thought Christina said they was the River Princesses.
That's what she calls them, but it's a respect thing. So
it is.
I would have called them River Princesses if they hadn't won, but if they won, they get River Warriors.
I got you, man.
Chad and Dee finished up in second. I believe Mike Greenwell was in third.
Yep.
Like I was saying before the show, I had to format my computer today. All of that stuff is still on a drive, but has not made it back to my desktop yet, so I don't have all the numbers in front of us. But had a real good turnout. Had a lot of people watching. A lot of fish were caught, even despite the hot temperatures everybody was dealing with, and
it was hot too.
Everybody had a good time. That's all that matters. So.
Let's not forget the 80-mile-an-hour wind gust that came through around noon.
Yeah,
for everybody.
Yeah. It was bad, but you know what? We need to congratulate Christina on a job well done hosting that tournament. She did an outstanding job with zero help, although she could have had some. All she had to do was say something to a couple of people. I know they would have helped her, but she didn't really need it.
She was
rocking done a bang-up job.
And she was rocking it, not being able to hear out of one ear.
Yeah, so that makes it even that much better. On another note, when we was talking about Roger and his team, I have to hand it to Roger. He come on Chad's show Thursday night, the bait shop, and was talking about some deals at Northwoods Wholesale Outlet. And he got to talking about drift socks for $9.99 on sale to close out. Well, I instantly went over there and ordered 2 of the biggest ones I have. They come in today, brand new, in the package, Cabela drift socks.
Well, those are good socks.
They are good drift socks. The biggest one they had was a 56-inch. I got 2 of them. With shipping was under $30.
Hey, you can't beat that.
Now, when The reason they're doing this, I'm quite sure, is because Bass Pro Shop now owns Cabela's, and they want to sell everything out with Cabela's name on it and have Bass Pro's name on everything. I have 2 of the Bass Pro ones, which are outstanding. They're probably 10 or 12 inches bigger than this, but I don't always need those great big ones. 30. Cindy come packing these in, and I said, "Oh, they got them drift socks here already. I only ordered them Thursday night." She said, "Don't we have drift socks?" I said, "Yes, we do. But these was $9.99 instead of the $89.99 I give for mine."
I'll say, what size did you get?
56-inch. That's they recommend them for 14 to 18-foot boats. Now, if they'd have had 78-inch ones or 88-inch ones, I'd have got that.
Josh, I hope he don't fall out of his boat because
he'll never catch it.
That thing's so big it'll just swallow him whole if he goes.
My name is not James Dockery.
I was just thinking next time we go to Mendota, we get Dockery to go, have him hold that, and he can go parasailing behind Lyle.
Him and Lyle look like Mary Poppins. Flatter. Just have them hold on to get one of them on each side of the back of the boat and just take off and watch them parasail.
Well,
and again, with those two little guys, we could probably use those 38-inch for the.
I probably could.
I know that everybody is always looking for a bargain. If you're in the market for a drift sock, that's a hell of a deal. I know that Mark ordered some today, and I don't think his was quite as big as that because he has a little smaller boat, but realistically, he should let me and Dockery help him go shopping. We always try our best to save him money.
Probably should have.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Lyle, I just looked. They have the 38 and the 46 is all they have left. So
all they have left. So
order, they're running out. So
real quick, what's the name of that real quick so people
Northwoods Wholesale Outlet.
Yep.
Northwoods Wholesale Outlet. If you're looking for one, you better hurry because all 67 people that are in chat are probably have their second device because they don't want to leave this awesome site. And
Mark just posted it right there. Thank you, Mark.
Thank you, Mark.
Van says Chad needs one of those. Maybe catch the rods he throws in the river. Oh, Van, that's cruel.
I tell you what, we had one out Saturday during pool party. The wind was just high enough and the current was low enough that it was messing up our drift. I was tossing had a 46-inch drift sock out there to keep us straight.
Well, here's the other thing. If you're anchor fishing and you're getting a lot of boat sway, you can throw one of them out behind you if you're in current, and it will help you stay straight behind an anchor.
Yes, it will.
So there's a lot of good uses for them. And for those that don't get the image behind Chadwick, he's in a motel room tonight in New Jersey, of all places.
He's trying to be one of those East Coasters.
I think he is. Yeah.
Sneaking in on the Potomac. I actually flew over the Potomac today and was like,
did you laugh when you went over?
I didn't know that literally it looks like potato fields all the way around it. So I wonder if that's why they call it the Potato River.
Hello, Maurice. Oh, my. Chad, on that note, don't you think we should invite all the people that's in chat in here? Can you
I don't think we can put them all in here, but we can say hi to them all.
Okay.
I will go back as far as I can, Lyle, because I can't, for some reason, pull up the...
Mike Irwin was number one coming in chat today.
What's up, Mr. Mike Irwin? I got Uncle Lou V3 Customs bumping my Greenwell, downtown Ernie Brown, Fin Seeker TV, my beautiful and amazing and loving and awesome wife who misses me so much right now. Can't blame her. Anyway, Sean T Outdoors, Lance McCoo Guy, Mark from Catfish and Crappie, Fin Seeker TV, can't remember, Avid Fisherman, Damn River Boys. Got Jason Lamb, Real Gals Fish, Patriot James,
Mark with Catfish and Crappie, Sean T, Mike Greenwell, Moonlight Catfishing, or Moonlight Fishing. There's Josh is in there. How about that? Maurice Cason, Parker Pursuits, Kevin with Palmetto Cats, Fin Seeker, Uncle Jeep. I know I'm trying to pick up what you didn't get.
There's
There's our
your
good
chicken
buddy.
twin, Dieter Melhorn.
Good old Dieter with the chicken coop in his boat. Fishing and stuff. Welcome, buddy. We're glad to have you in here. Let's see who else we got here. Going through here. There, you said Stephanie. Glad she's in here. And Van, Jason Lamb, Damn River Boys, Mr. Kitty Whiskers.
Did you get Uncle Jeep?
I did not. I'm going back the other way.
I see.
Mike Greenwell, Bobcat Outdoors, Jody, Lance McCoo Guy, Danimal, Sandy with Silver Fox Fishing. There's my good buddy James Smith. James, you need to send me your shipping address, please. I have some black and blue jigs coming your way, and I don't know where I've got it somewhere, but I can't find it. Fishing with Squirrel, Cody Robbins. I said Kevin with Palmetto Cats, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, man. I got to find that one because I need to go over some things with this one when I run across it again. Till fishing do us part. For the folks that don't know, that is Mark with Bill of Rights Fishing. Used to be Bill of Rights Fishing. He has changed his channel name. Till fishing do us part. You'll love his intro into a lot of his videos. Mark, it's a pleasure to have you in our chat tonight. Thank you so much for joining us. Keep up the good work. If you folks haven't checked out Mark's videos, you need to go take a look at those. They are awesome. There is the love of my life, Cindy Stokes, in there.
Oh, Sydney, he must want something. You hear
I got
that?
something. They come in the mail today, and she didn't get mad. Bobcat, Lance McCoo Guy. Let's see. Bottom Dollar Outdoors, Hunt, Fish, Grow. John Patrick Jr. I don't see any more. Do you guys?
Oh,
Fish.
thanks, sir. I just dropped the link. Hopefully I said that right. Till fishing do us part.
Yep. Paul
I dropped the
Boyd.
link to that one.
Like I said, Parker. I'll put that up there.
All right.
Yeah, it's a great channel with a lot of good quality content. And Josh, you had a really good short tip Saturday over the weekend.
Over the weekend.
You had short tip Saturday this weekend?
Oh, I didn't have one this weekend.
I must be a week behind.
I thought you were giving me a hard time there.
Oh no. David Smith, howdy, bud. Glad to have you in here.
I've been having computer issues, so.
But you got that fixed, right?
Those are fixed now, so.
Okay.
And I got the green light today to order the parts to build a new one. So.
Oh. You gonna make a video out of building it?
I don't know. Language filters might cut me out on that one.
Well, boys, after last week's show, we talked about content for a couple of upcoming shows.
Yeah.
And we come up with this week doing some stuff on bait, catching it, preserving it, keeping it alive, freezing it, all the stuff. So why don't we get started with that? Because I think that this is a situation, especially now, where we've had over 2 weeks, right around 3 weeks, of every day being over 100 degrees where I'm at, except 2 in 3 weeks. So if you get bait, it's important to take care of them and how we do it. So who wants to go first?
Ladies first.
Okay, I'll go first.
Go ahead, Chad.
Oh, I mean, how you guys want? You want to flip a coin? Do like some paper, rock, scissors? You do whatever you want.
Yeah.
So I think there was a couple ways we could go about talking about this. I think, a lot of us fish for stuff like skipjack and moon eye and stuff. When I think talking about freezing bait versus, keep bait that we're going to keep alive, right? If you're going to use bait tanks and stuff like that, I think that's two different conversations. So
Check David Martin's post. You'll find out all the information you need to know, Dieter. I helped him with that this afternoon.
So how about we start here? So going out and catching bait, how do you keep your bait fresh until you get it home, right? So for me, it's one of two things. It's saltwater brine, because I'm going to freeze a lot of the bait. I don't really use a lot of live bait. Hey, congratulations, Mark is 16 months a member.
Thank you, Mark. We appreciate that so much.
But to me, it's keeping your bait as cold as possible. That saltwater brine is really good for freezing your bait, but I think too is I know people will use ice, just regular ice, and keeping it cold. But ice packs, to me, a lot of good ice packs or bags of ice, versus that watered down melted ice that kind of draws that blood and sends the oil out of your bait. I'd rather use the ice packs. So.
Yeah, I like the saltwater brine method, and I tell you what, there's times if I know I'm going to be freezing bait, if I catch a moon eye or something like that, and I'm out in the boat, I'll kick the live well on, start throwing them in the live well, keep that water circulating, and they'll be alive when I get home to start freezing those things.
Yep. Yeah, I especially bluegill, they're very hardy, or bullheads, either one. I can keep them for many, many days in a live well if you keep them shaded and change out the water once in a while and give them a couple of fishing worms every once in a while. They'll last a long, long time.
Yes,
as far as shad, where I'm fishing mainly in the lakes these days, we don't have skipjack, so shad, you can keep them alive for a certain amount of time depending on the type of live bait tank you have. If you keep the water changed out, and if you'll put some ice in it to keep it cool down once in a while. But it's so much easier for me to throw it on ice if I'm going to use it that day or the next day. If I'm going to be saving it for 2, 3, 4 days, I want to put it in a saltwater brine, flash freeze it, put it on ice, and when I get home, vacuum seal it, and that will keep it good. And when you cut it open, as long as you're using it within a reasonable length of time, and I call that 2 weeks or under, just my opinion, it will still bleed when you cut it out. Now, moon eye goes on ice. I don't want to use it but 2 or 3 days. I have had no luck freezing it, but I know that Chad's got a bunch of it that he's put in ice slurries and he's vacuum sealed it. And I'm anxious to hear the report on that when he uses it to see how it works for him, because when I was keeping it, I was not putting it in an ice slurry. It was going right on ice and then vacuum sealed. And it was okay, but it was still a little mushy for me. But he got some bigger ones. The bigger they are, the better bone structure they have, and normally the better they will preserve, is what I have found. Now, you guys can visit about that here in a second, but even shad that are 6 or 8 inches long will not last as long as the 10 or 12 inchers. They'll preserve better. They have better bone construction. The meat and muscle tissue in them are a lot stronger. They just work better to freeze. Skipjack, very hardy fish, one of the most consistent ones that I'm aware of to freeze and store. I've used them for 5 and 6 months at a time and caught fish on them. I'm not afraid to go to a tournament and use frozen bait. Now, if I go and I can get fresh bait, hoorah, that's a home run. But if there's $5 or $6 and I'm having to buy it between frozen and fresh froze, I'll take the frozen. I'm not going to pay $5 or $6 a bag for that. Them guys are just bending you over and sticking it to you when they do that, because it don't cost them that much to store them in a freezer. I mean, it costs. Electricity's not, but it's not that much when they're selling hundreds and hundreds of bags of it. So I'm not going to pay the extra to do that because I have had great success with frozen bait.
If you can find $5 skipjack, let me know where.
I'm talking about per
Yeah.
fish.
That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Now, when you go to a tournament,
They're
they're
closer
going
to
to get the
7 now.
premium.
You go to bait shops now, and they were $6, and they're raising them to $7, $8 a piece now.
Yeah, well, and it's
So-
all turns down to what we talked to a few weeks ago, gentlemen,
Yeah.
about the price of fuel and anything that has to
Yep.
be hauled because
Mhm.
it costs those people to do it.
Yep.
It just does.
Well, here's my question to both of you guys, because I never thought about it until I guess it was like last year. Doc Lang and some other people have talked to me about it and about skipjack, laying them on their back in that brine, that saltwater brine, so that blood flows down into the back.
Goes down around the backbone. Yes.
Now, do you guys do that the same thing to like gizzard shad and moon eye and stuff like that? Do you think it?
I think that it will work with any of them, even though they don't have as much blood. It still goes down to around the backbone, which is the main structure of that fish. My opinion only.
It probably does. I shove them down in there. I've had good luck at everything we've frozen, and I don't get that technical on it. I think that's a really good idea. But
yeah, I think it's a good idea. If you haven't done it or tried it, if you have time to do it, I think it's an outstanding idea. Is this a new channel? Dead Seas Pirate Fishing?
It's a new one to me.
It's a new one to me. Welcome to the channel, fellas. We're glad to have you, or ladies, whichever the case may be. We're really happy to have you in there. Kentucky Catfishing says, I've never thought about laying them on their back. I'm going to give it a try. Well, it makes sense to me. They're going to die. Turn them upside down, let all the blood run through the body, and get around the backbone. That's the main thing, that blood flows up and down that fish anyhow. So why not have it all right there so when you cut it open, it runs out?
Yeah.
Makes sense to me.
Oh.
Yeah, because I mean that I've seen people do all kinds of different stuff. I've used like I said, the ice packs and the brine and stuff, and I've seen people just throw them in a 5-gallon bucket with a little bit of ice in it.
Mm-hmm.
I will tell you this: when the weather cools up and it's not boiling hot outside, if you're on a skipjack trip and you catch them, put them in especially if it's cool outside or cold, put them in a 5-gallon bucket, let them cool out before you put them in a cooler full of ice. So that way the internal part of the fish is as cool as the outside and they'll preserve better.
Really?
Yes.
It's interesting.
Harold Dodd told me that many, many years ago. There's no one I know, and I know a lot of guys that fish a lot and know a lot. Harold Dodd is this high above the rest of everybody else, in my opinion.
Even better than me?
Yeah. He mows more than anybody I know. And like I say, that's saying something with some of the people that I've fished with over the years, because Harold Dodd is the guru that knows the most about catfishing that I've ever met.
I don't know if he's that far, maybe like that far above me. But I mean, you could have gave me some credit.
I got to tell you, if you ever meet Harold, I will introduce you to him if I ever get the opportunity. And when you're done, if you don't tell me the same thing, I will be in a state of shock.
Josh, the first thing I'm going to be like, that sun gun don't know half what I know.
Harold, when you go to a tournament and one day there's 106 pound and the next day 105 pound and you're one of them to catch the 106 and win the tournament going away, you don't just figure that out and he had a guy that built rods in the boat with him from Kansas City, and they was pre-fishing the day before that tournament. It was on a Friday, and they went into a place up on the Mississippi River where there's no current. And the guy says, Harold, what are you doing in here? What are you looking for? And he says, that right there. The next day they went in there and they caught that fish. They marked it the second day, caught it, 106 pounds.
Oh, man.
So, yeah, Harold Dodd is the man, period.
Stonefly has a comment there in chat. That is almost exactly how I do mine.
That's I was getting ready.
That is exactly how I do mine when I bring them home.
I was waiting for us to get done drooling over Harold Dodd, and I'll bring that up.
Harold's getting up there now in age, but he's an amazing fisherman.
Age is just knowledge.
That is correct.
Lyle, you're like a level, 635. So
no, not compared to guys like him. But the next time you talk to Doc, ask him about Harold Dodd. He's fished with Harold too.
Oh yeah, but that's exactly talking about taking when you get the bait home, right? We talked about being out there on the bank, and Lyle, you brought a good point. Cooler weather, using something like that. But keeping them cold, maybe stacking them as best you can to keep that blood drawn down into the backbone. But then once you get home, right, what's your process for, freezing it, for, packaging and all that kind of stuff?
As I pull them out of the cooler, I vacuum seal how many ever the bag is big enough to hold. For the most part, I like 2 or 3 fish in a baggie. And it doesn't matter to me if they're lengthways in that bag or if they're put in sideways. That depends on how long they're. My favorite skipjacks are ones that are about 8 or 9 inches long. That way I can cut the head off of them, cut the tail off of them, and use that whole body.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. I love those size. They work the very best. When a skipjack gets so big that the head's like this, it's not that them fish can't eat it. It's just it's hard to bump with, and it's hard to tell when something's going on with it under the water. They're a lot bigger for me if they're about this big around.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Now, that's just my personal preference. But a body section makes no difference. I'll put 2 hunks in that thing. If it's a foot and a half long, and I'll put it out there. It don't matter. It don't get too big for blues. It just don't get too big for blue cats. And my favorite way is to use a drop shot rig and suspend them off the bottom because their eyes are on the top of their head. They're going to come up for whatever bait they're looking for. If you've got it scooting along the bottom, they got to go look down. So they got to arch their tail up in the air like this to go down to get them. Why do that? Have it up there where they can just reach up there, snatch onto whatever piece they got coming at them, and you're good to go. Just my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
So, Josh, tell us about this cookie sheet in the freezer.
Oh, that is the best way. That's the best way we started doing those. We'll take cookie sheets, and I started lining them with wax paper. Because if you don't, those fish will freeze to that metal cookie sheet every time.
Every time.
If you do that, and if they freeze to the wax paper, who cares? You just tear the wax paper, vacuum seal that with it. But I throw them in that. We've got an upright freezer, and I'll throw those cookie sheets in there. It might take an hour or 2 for them to freeze. And then when you go to put them in your vacuum sealer bags, you don't have all that slime and all that water getting sucked up into your vacuum sealer, because once that gets up in there, it has a real hard time sealing.
Yep.
That's right.
And we've got bags of bait. Every time we vacuum seal, we'll have one that doesn't get a good seal no matter what you do. Usually I just write did not seal, throw it in that upright freezer, and the next time I go out, that's the bait
that's right. Get rid of them first off.
It's not gonna last.
Nope. Mark with Fishing Do Us Part says, do we remove the slime off or not before freezing? I usually have a paper towel and just wipe down both sides, throw them in the bag. But I'm not sure it makes a whole lot of difference.
Yeah, I shake them off, just try to get some of the water off there. But
I usually try to pat them dry.
Yeah, I just one wipe on each side with a paper towel, full of paper towel and slime and all in a trash, and vacuum seal them and go for the next one, because we've brought back 400 and 500 at a time. And believe me, when you're doing that many of them, you want to get them done as quick as you can.
It is a assembly line process at our house when I bring bait home.
You betcha.
Caitlin is old enough now to help. Even she's in there helping.
Yeah, that's a lot of cookie sheets, 500 or 600 of them.
We've got a bunch of cookie sheets, not enough to do 500 or 600 though.
I usually end up doing them by myself. We have been to Cumberland City, Tennessee when we used to do the skipjack runs. And while everybody else was still out getting them, I would have 2 and 3 coolers full, and I would run extension cord out the motel room, and I would park my truck as far away from the motel as I could get it, and I would have them set up, and I'd have one cooler on one side of me and the other cooler on the other side with ice in it, and I'd pull them out of there, wipe them down, vacuum seal 2 or 3 of them, put them in the other cooler, pull the next 2 or 3 out, vacuum seal, pull them in the cooler because they've been laying out all day. They're already cold, and vacuum seal them. And when everybody else come in, they hadn't even got a start on it. Well, I was done. I'm ready to go eat. Let's eat, folks, because it's time to get something, get my grub on. But 2 and 3 hours at a time, vacuum seal them by yourself. And it was cold. We're talking about 15, 20 degrees outside, and everybody's down there trying to get their ones. Well, I done had mine because I was there when they opened up in the morning, when it was daylight. I was ready to go to get all of them I could do. Does it make your cookie taste funny?
Killing me. No, I like what you suggested there, right? And one thing I can, especially with stuff like shad, trying to do those. It don't matter what you put it in; they got that gunky slime type deal. And what you said, if you can knock a little bit of that off, freeze it, and then do it, because you don't need to go and buy like one of them big, Cabela's processors that cost hundreds and hundreds of dollars. The ones that I got was from Walmart, and they work great.
Chamber sealer?
The vacuum sealers.
Yeah, chamber sealer. Yeah, they're very expensive. They do a really good job. Yeah, I've been using the same one I got at Walmart for, oh my God, 10, 12 years, maybe longer. And you just buy bags, which are not cheap, but it's cheaper than skipjack when you have to buy them.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Now, Christina got us a Game Saver, the Sportsman's Edition, and it will run off of AC, or it has a 12-volt DC cord.
That'd be really good. Yeah,
plug it in the truck and go.
That'd be awesome.
Yeah.
You got Cindy worried. You're not using my cookie sheet pans.
I never have used her cooking stuff for that I can remember.
No, I like the assembly line process as well, but keeping them as dry as you can will make them seal better. And the better they seal, the better the fresher they'll be at the end. When you go to use it.
I agree. And if they freezer burn for some reason, I still use them. And if I don't catch something on them pretty quick, they get shit canned, and I put something else on. Mike Greenwell, do they still go down to Cumberland City anymore and get them? I don't know if that's even open or not, but that was my favorite place to go down there. We'd spend 3 or 4 days down there. And, of course, now they have a limit on what you can get. But, man, you talk about some fun times we had down there. We used to be, before Winter Blues on Wheeler, we would go down there over New Year's weekend. Everybody would stay together, and we'd have a big party and catch skipjack. And I've brought back as many as 550 at a time. Last me all year. Those was the days.
Can't believe everybody
you found Parker's comment, didn't you?
Yeah, I seen it, and I'm seeing all the other people and their comments.
That one?
Yeah.
Oh, you're just mean, Jared Parker. Haven't heard of anyone going in a few years. Well, Mike, if you hear that opening up and there are a bunch of skippies down there, let me know. Cindy and I'll make a trip down there because that is a fun place to catch them. It's getting to where for us it's hard to walk up and down there, but I'd just take the boat, I think, and go in the inlet there and catch them. I seen Steve Douglas go in there one day and catch a bunch, and right at the inlet of Cumberland City. But I seen a guy throw a cast net because the skipjack go in there after the shad. They're eating them shad, and there was so many shad in there. We was trying to catch skipjack, and we was snagging shad in the back, reeling in. And my buddy Chris Workman told me, he said, "Man, I wished I had a net. I'd get some of them shad." I said, "Well, I got a net." So I got the net, and we went down there, and he threw that net the first time, and we had to let half of them out. Couldn't even drag it in. There was
Oh man.
so many shad in there, and they was 6-8 inches long, and we filled up 3 5-gallon buckets full. And I said, I ain't packing one of them things, plumb full of shad. And I said, I'll carry the net, and that's what I done. But man,
I tell you what, Lyle, you'd start talking about preserving shad. I do that every year, but I've got a routine. I wait for the water to get cold. About late November, sometime in late November, early December, when that water cools off real good, and that's when I go pick up my shad. Just seems like they save longer. I've got shad that I took with me a few trips ago, and it is almost 2 years old and hasn't turned mushy yet. It is still catching fish.
was they big?
They weren't huge. They were probably 6 or 7 inch shad.
Wow, that's really
And
good.
I won't like cram a bag full of them either. I'll lay them flat, however many I can get flat in a bag, and that's all that goes in there.
Yeah. It's a mistake cramming them in there. I've had them where they was, 3-4 inches long and just tip up what was in there and put them in a bag and freeze them. You might as well throw them away.
Yep.
Because they ain't no good.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of if you lay the bait on bait. It seems to.
If you're going to go through the headache of catching bait, keeping it good till you get home, and then getting all the stuff out to vacuum seal it, do it right. You've already spent that much time.
Yep.
Go the extra mile, do it right, and you're going to have better results out of it. You're going to.
That's exactly right. And I haven't done any of that in years and years and years. But when you're starting out, you try anything so you remember that you always have bait. But even at best, you will eventually run out. We used to go down there and we'd make some big skipjack runs, and sometimes we would get more than other times. But a lot of times we'd bring back what I thought would be enough to go the entire fishing year, fishing for fun, fishing tournaments nearly every weekend for years and years and years, and we would still run out come near the end of the season. And we was going over January 1st weekend. We done that several years in a row. We had a really good time. But you will, if you fish a lot, and we did in those days a lot, we'd still run out. And then you rely on your local fish, whether it be skipjack or shad or moon eye or whatever the bait of choice is, whatever's local to whatever water you're fishing is what I always tried to do. And that's what we'd use. And one of the things that I think is one of the more overlooked baits is bluegill and sunfish, green sunfish. Bullheads is another one. They're a little hard to find, but if you can find a small pond, especially in a city area where people just go in there and mess around, usually got bullhead in them. And I got to tell you, bullheads do not get too big for flatheads. They just don't get too big for a flathead. A little flathead can eat a big bullhead, and a lot of times I don't think they want to eat them. I think they just want to kill them. They hate them that bad. But they are great bait for flathead fishing. I've never caught a big channel or a blue on a bullhead. I'm not saying you can't. I'm telling you I haven't. Green sunfish, warmouth. People talk about those fish, and they are excellent bait, cut bait. They're great live bait for flatheads and blues. But they'll all eat them. They all do eat them in the wild every day. And they don't have to be this big. They'll eat them little bitty ones.
Yeah, I seen that. It's been probably maybe a month or two ago, but it was like a 6-pound flathead that ate a 3-pound bass. Had a 3-pound bass in its mouth.
I don't doubt that. They got them big old mouths are made to eat.
Yep.
And that's what they do. The sunfish are my number one favorite catfish bait. I got a bait tank full of bullheads and sunfish. That's bait.
I haven't had a lot of luck on the river using sunfish. Skips, moon eyes, shad will catch me fish out there. I have caught fish using sunfish out on the river, but just I don't get the bites like I do with the others. But
well, to me, like bluegill and stuff, they bleed a little. I don't think they're all that oily. And, like the other baits that really put off a scent trail like the other ones.
Yeah.
I use bluegill here and there, but I'm the same way. Well,
I really do. I think sunfish have to be right in front of a blue or a channel cat. Not so much a flathead because they're used to chasing live bait
yeah,
a lot. I mean, they go in early and late. They'll feed any time of the day the opportunity comes along, but they like early mornings, late evenings, and they prey on bait fish of all kinds that's shallow next to wood piles, tree roots, all kinds of stuff. So anything that hangs out there, they'll eat. And what hangs out there? Sunfish. You don't know if shad hangs out there or not, because if you throw it in there, you're going to get hung up on a tree root ball.
no doubt.
But, they'll all eat shad. That's a natural thing for them. They eat them every day, probably.
Michael Malott has a good point. He said white bass are killer if it's legal, and that's the truth.
If it's legal, they are. They're very
white
good.
Bass and yellow bass, all those. They love
stripers.
I think they hate them.
Oh, I do too.
They just hate those fish enough that they want to kill them.
I think warmouth is like that. I think that they'll eat them if the opportunity comes along. But I think if one of them comes by, they'll just kill it to get it away from them. And I know bullheads are like that. They hate bullheads. But they'll eat them. I mean, they end up disappearing when you hook one.
I wish I'd kept that one I caught up there that second day up at Mendota. I wish I'd kept that bullhead and cut it up.
What you should have done is brought it down here and let it breed some of the local ones to you. That way you could add some in giant.
Yeah. I couldn't have kept that thing alive for the rest of the week.
No.
They wouldn't have happened.
Damn River Boy says trout work great. I'm not sure trout's legal in my state.
I've heard it works.
I've heard they work really well, yeah.
Yeah, I've heard the same, but I think they're illegal for us to use in Kentucky.
Yeah, they're I think they are here too, but if they're legal, yeah, I'm sure they would work really good. QC Fishing, welcome to chat, fellow. We're glad to have you in here. But yeah, I think there's a lot of those fish like that flatheads will just kill because they're killers.
Because they're there.
They don't want them around them. They really kind of got an attitude to start with. And if they don't want another fish around you, they're either going to get whooped or do some whooping, or they're just going to eat you to get rid of you. But now they'll eat you if the opportunity comes along and you're easy. There's no doubt in my mind. So there's Brad Bex. Welcome, buddy. But yeah, there's a lot of opportunistic things that fish do as far as getting their meals and things. But I really think a lot of them just kill stuff just to kill it because that's what they do. So Josh uses trout for big channel. Yeah, but Josh is in Nebraska, and I don't know what the rules are out there. Could be many different things.
Yeah, you got to definitely check your local regulations.
Ryan Board says, Chad, legal is a relative term. Relative to what?
All I can tell you is if you don't get caught, you better hope you don't ever get caught.
Speaking of Ryan Bortz, he had a live going on the other day. I jumped in there for a little while, caught another great fish.
Are you talking about when he was bumping from the kayak?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wild when
I'm watching that.
Yeah, it was. I actually watched some other guy. I watched Green Machine today. He caught some great fish bumping from a kayak. Yeah, and I'm not a big kayak fan. I have actually entertained the idea recently of trying one, and then when I see how unstable they are, and you can't weigh your fish, because I don't care what anybody says about length, width, girth. That is the biggest force in fishing. There's no way that's accurate. The bigger the fish is, the further off that formula is. The only way to get an accurate weight on them is to weigh them. You can't stand. I ain't standing up in one of them things and trying to weigh one. Now, I know there's some guys that are pretty coordinated that get that done. I'm not one of them. And it'd be my luck. I would have a day like Dan had with Green Machine and catch a fire out of big fish and not be able to weigh any of them. I'd be so disappointed. I'd have to go to the bank and weigh them
I
every
was
time.
going to say, you'd have to make a trip to the bank to weigh
Yeah.
that fish.
But
that freaked me out during the Biggest Loser tournament back in April. Dan caught a monster out there on that kayak. And I was like, "Are you going to get it weighed?" And, and he's like, "Yeah, I'll just stand up in this kayak and weigh it." The whole time I'm sitting there like, no, don't.
Yeah.
And he just, once you're comfortable in your kayak, you know what it's going to do. I guess you're all right. I don't stand up in mine.
Yeah.
I have trouble standing up in my boat.
Yeah.
James Dockery and I have talked about, he's got a kayak. He's also got one of them belly tubes that he swims around out there in.
James Dockery's center of gravity is like 2 inches off the ground.
Well, I know he's like a Smurf or something, but yeah, I can't do it. It'd have to have side posts on it to hold me from tipping over. But
we can get you set up with that. I know some guys that do some DIYs.
Mm-hmm.
They could probably put something together.
Pods for the back of your boat, except on the sides. I actually have seen those. They do make some of them, but I just
they make outriggers for those kayaks.
That's what they say. I just I got to have a gas motor on mine. I want to go 25 mile an hour or so.
I can just see Lyle. Everybody's got these trolling motors. Lyle's going to have a freaking 9.9 on the back.
I want mine to plane out, man.
Oh, my goodness.
That'd be wild.
Oh,
man. In a little boat. Like that, man.
Because he's done shopping. He must have went over to the Northwoods wholesale outlet place because, man, they have a bunch of stuff in there.
Danny Stone has joined us.
I'm glad to have Danny in here.
Danny, real quick, Parker got distracted by some bait fish jumping the other day and forgot to take stickers with him. So later on today, Danny, message me your address and I'll get those thrown in an envelope, get them mailed to you since Parker failed you. So
Ryan says his trolling motor goes 5 mile an hour. That's not too bad, really.
That's pretty good.
Sounds like it to me. I guess one of them 112 Tarovas with 3 batteries in it probably be all right.
Yeah, that 112 Tarova with 3 batteries in my 21-foot boat gets me 3.8. So
I was going to say, you put that on a friggin' kayak, you'd be going faster than most of our boats.
I want to plane out, I told you.
So you'd plane out.
No, you'd be doing more than planing out. You'd see, what's them surfboards where they come up out of the...
Oh, yeah, where they're just riding on that keel.
Oh,
that's what I'm talking
about. That'd be Lyle.
There's Annette Morgan. Welcome. Yeah, no kidding. I would be.
I'm going to fill my body.
Okay. I'd be the first guy to get a ticket for a no wake zone. No doubt about it.
The hydrofoil. That's the name of that. I could not think of that.
Oh, man. If there's ever any kind of ticket you can get for speeding, I've pretty much had them over the years. Not recently, but back in the day, I would get them pretty much daily.
Yep. Old Caitlin has known what a no-wake buoy was since she was about 3 or 4 years old.
And how did she figure that out?
Well, she had always told me she likes to go fast in the boat. And we'd go take off from the boat ramp. We'd idle out, and she said, "Dad, go fast." And "Honey, you can't go fast till you pass that buoy." And I'd point the buoy out to her. And we were coming out of a little cove one day out on the Crab Orchard Lake. We got to that buoy. The whole time we're coming up on it, she's like that, watching that buoy. As soon as we passed that buoy, she just looked over. She goes, "Dad, punch it." All right, you got it. Boom. There we go.
Back years and years ago, I used to duck hunt a lot, and we'd go out. I had a 65 horse Mercury on the back of what was when it was new, it was a military boat. It was a fiberglass boat, and it had handles all down the side, and on the back, and the front. And they picked it up, and they would carry it from one body of water to the other. Well, we made a duck hunting boat out of it. It had a blind on it, and things for the dogs to sit on each end, and heaters and all the stuff. And my oldest son would sit up on the front of that boat when we'd be going duck hunting. And it didn't matter how fast you went, he would be pointing out stumps and tree limbs. He had a spotlight up there, deer crossing the river, and all kinds of stuff. But he usually froze his butt off, because if we could go 30, we go 30. If we could go 40, we go 40. Whatever the boat would do is what we done. That would depend on how much of a load you had in. And, I had 12 dozen duck decoys and 6 dozen goose decoys. Now, we didn't always use them, but always had them just in case. And the boys and the dogs in the middle of the day, they'd be piled up on them decoy bags. They'd be sleeping, and I'd be duck hunting. Sometimes I'd sleep. Just lots of fun.
I'm just curious whether that old military boat of yours had belonged to the North or the South.
I don't know. I got it from a guy that had it. That's a good one, though. Downtown, Ernie Brown. But yeah, we used that boat for years and years and years. Cindy steered it one time, and I was doing something at the back of the boat. She turned around, looked at me, and put us up on the bank on Truman Lake. And we had a yellow lab with us, and throwed it out of the boat. Me almost out of the boat, and the boat motor and everything was completely out of the water when it stopped. I like to never got that thing back in the water, but we did, and we got it fired up. We got her back to town. Everything's good. So, but yeah, that was a pretty hard hit. It landed about 3 foot up the bank, straight up a bank. She turned around and looked, and when she did, she just steered it right into it. She never steered a boat before that day. And I said, "Here, you need to do this. I know what it was. I was going to let water out of the boat. It had water in the back of the boat, and I was going to pull the plug." She turned around to see what I was doing. Yeah. And now she drives the boat, and we go all over the place. I mean, ain't no big deal. How times have changed. Hey, Chad, I bet you don't have the giveaway tool pulled up.
I don't.
Yeah, you know what? I can do that.
Oh, here we go, Josh.
Yep. I was going to say I can pull it up if you want. So,
hey, if you want to, that's fine. But can you share the screen?
I should be able to. I think you'll have to. No, I can't. It's not letting me do it.
That's all right. I'll do it. I'll get it right now.
This is what we. This is
what we've worried about for months.
Oh, come on.
Hold on. Let me see if I can get Dee to speedy deliver my laptop to me thousands of miles away. And yeah, we will have Mark from Catfish and Crappie going live. I don't know if he's got a guest or not tonight. Do you?
Yes, he does. Chewy.
Oh, yeah, that's right. This week was Chewy from Old Carver Podcast.
That's right? Correct.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay, share screen. Chrome tab.
Right? She has faith in you, Lyle.
Who does?
Dee.
Oh, thanks, Dee. There's your hashtag. First thing we're going to give away tonight is some of the dip bait worm from Mad Catters Catfishing. We'll give those away first. I think I gave them away to a guy last week and sent him something else. He said he didn't remember. I didn't either, and I didn't look it up, so he's got them on the way.
And hello, Miss Chrissy Brown.
Mad Catter just had a birthday the other day too, if I remember right.
I saw that.
Want to wish Richard a happy birthday. He's such a good guy to all of us. We appreciate him so much.
Ruben Yoder. Welcome. Checking out some of these names I see popping in here. There's Big Bill Veteran Catfishing, LG Bass.
John Boys. Well, I think we covered a lot of ground tonight, and if anybody has any questions, they can leave them for us in the comments below on this, or you can message us on Facebook to any of us personal accounts or to
Yep.
Catfish Weekly, and we will get you an answer to anything. If you like the content of what we're doing, please hit the like button below. If you're not subscribed to Catfish Weekly, we'd appreciate it if you do that. And any comments and stuff about the show, about the topics, anything you'd like to see in the future, just put them in there and we will surely get you an answer and try to help you out with anything like that. We working hard to get you good content, and we're going to keep it coming with some new guests coming up before long. There's Crappie Day Fish on.
Yeah, I think tonight was really good info of things some people probably. I know there was things that we learned from Josh tonight. Cookie sheets and stuff like that. And,
yeah, even though I can't use them, we learned about it.
You'll just get in trouble.
I'm not going to do that.
Lyle, just go to the dollar store and get you some cheap ones.
Yeah, if I need, it's $1.25 now.
Lyle, go to Walmart. Go in Walmart with Cindy, buy her brand new.
And get her old ones.
You got to buy her some brand new gear so that you can use the old stuff.
She really.
Oh yeah, come on, guys, get them thumbs up going.
Oh, thank you so much, Keith. We appreciate it. Yeah, it's better just to let her have the new stuff. I've done that with muffin tins that I'm making, cleaning lead in. You give her the new ones, take the old ones. Sometimes she wants the old ones. She don't want the new ones because they're not as good a quality as some of the old ones. But you got to be aware of all that stuff and kind of see what we got. Only got 35 entries. You need to hurry, folks. We're not going to waste too much time. We got 2 giveaways tonight, and Mark's got a guest on his show, so we do not want to miss that. Chrissy Brown, member for 14 months. Thank you so much, Chrissy. We appreciate that.
How are you still in my head all the way in New Jersey? What? What'd I do?
What did you do?
I don't know. I'm in trouble for something. I'll call her after.
You do?
You stay in trouble.
I have a.
Josh, have you got a tip for this week?
We were kind of dealing with the bait. Pretty well covered that with the cookie sheets and using that wax paper, and stacking the don't cram your vacuum seal bags full of fish. So I mean that's a
great tip right there.
Keep
Uncle Jeep says look for Nordic Wear products, fantastic baking sheets.
Be scared to know what those cost before I start throwing fish on
them.
I have a quick
Mr.
tip.
Gadget says dollar store said under Biden they will not carry anything less than $2. And Cindy's going to keep her stainless steel restaurant pans.
Oh yeah,
I kind of thought she would.
Ernie.
And I really don't blame him. Okay, we're going to do this first one right now.
All right,
Ernie.
Oh, we still got it up?
Yep, go ahead.
Here we go.
Who's it going to be? It's
going to be Sean T. Outdoors.
T. Outdoors. He's such a nice guy.
Sean's winning tonight.
Good job, Sean.
Won the rigs, won a free 1 month membership to Catfish Weekly.
Oh, yeah. Heck yeah, that's awesome. Thank you so much, Sean, for watching the show. And we're going to go ahead and if you want in, go ahead and get in because we're going to use that same hashtag in just a minute to pull out the second winner. So Abbott said he sent me a message.
We're going to give away Chad's center console boat.
No, my wife just said we're going to get it ready now. And
come bring it by and it can hang out in the island of misfit boats. We'll get it running.
Jay was said he would help take it for a week, make sure it's all gridded and good and ready to go, and then the wife's going to help get me some sugar mama money to put into it. So,
heck yeah, there you go.
Chad's going to have Dean working that overtime.
That's right.
Probably so. I'm anxious for you to get that boat going. I really like that boat.
How long is that boat, Chad?
It's 20.
Nice.
It looks so much bigger
than that.
It's just because the way the strikers run down the sides and stuff. It's one of them offshore, like Gulf type boats. It just looks forever and a day long.
Those things are great in rough water.
Yeah, you'll love that boat. Now here's the rig we're doing. 8/0 circle hook, 3-way swivel, 2.5-inch peg float in it. It may be green, it may be orange. I can't show the green ones because I have a green screen, so I use the orange one. But you're not telling what color it'll be, but you will get one. So we'll see how many we got in here now.
I don't know, man. I'll have to look, and I don't think so.
Pardon me?
Dee's asking if we have plans this weekend. I can't even think right now.
He doesn't even know if he's coming home this weekend or not.
I'll be home this freaking weekend. Assuming that they don't, cancel some planes again and move my flights to God knows when, like they did today.
That's right, Keith. Nothing like some good old sugar.
Make some phone calls this week.
Gotta have that sugar mama money. That's the best sponsor ever.
That's a fact. That's a fact.
Oh, I forgot I was going to say earlier. You said you asked, Josh gave his tips. I wanted to give one too.
Okay.
When you're losing to the river princesses, make sure that you net every fish that comes to the boat, and you don't just try to hand line them in or anything like that.
Don't try to boat flip a catfish. It doesn't work.
It will cost you a tournament. Just letting you all know that's the tip of the
That's a great tip. That's a great tip. What do you guys say we go ahead and spin this next one? We got 40 entries in here.
Do it.
Here we go.
Guys and gals, make sure you hit that thumbs up for Mr. Lyle. Not for Josh, if not for me, do it for Mr. Lyle. Do it for Cindy. You got to be kidding me.
Sean T Outdoors, I only need your address once and you'll get both packages.
That lucky son of a gun.
This show is over, Sean, go buy a lottery ticket.
Please do. You'll be sorry if you didn't.
Please buy a lottery ticket.
3 winnings tonight on one show, all the same person. You can't go wrong with a deal like that. That's the first time that's ever happened, I believe.
Yeah.
That was wild.
That was wild. We thank you guys so much for watching our show tonight. We appreciate the thumbs up and all the new subscribers. For Josh and Chad, thanks for watching Catfish Weekly. We'll see you next Monday night right here. Bye, everybody.
See y'all.